Welcome to a video tutorial of AuctionRPM. My name is Dan Zumwalt and I'll be your guide through this discussion of how to pay your consignors in AuctionRPM. Well, the assumption now is that the auction is finished. It's time to settle out with our consignors and it's time to determine how much we owe our consignors. What we're going to do now is under Auctions and under After Auction, let's pull the consignment fees due report sorted by item number. I'll click on Print Selected Summary, and then I'll indicate that I only want information for a specific auction, but within that specific auction I want to list information for all consignors that I owe money to. I'll press Proceed, and then it asks, do you wish to recalculate the consignment fees for this consignor? Whenever you see this question mark, a good rule of thumb is always answer yes. And so we'll answer yes here. And now it will do its calculations and it will display the report to us. This consignment fees due by item number is a listing of all of the items that we sold for, in this case, George Consignor in this auction. George Consignor is the one that's listed here. It's at this address, and there's his consignor code. And here it lists out that we sold a couch for George. This couch was in auction number 2, it was lot number 6, and it's item number 20. And this couch sold for $100. Our fee, obviously, was 35%, and so the fee is $35. And so as a result, we owe George $65 on this couch. All of the items that we sold for George would be listed here, and of course any expenses would also be listed in this region. Once all of the items and expenses are listed, then we now have our consignor totals. That lists out all of the total bids and buyback items. It shows us all of our fees and any expenses that need to be deducted. And as a result, it tells us what is due to the consignor. The total net due is sitting right here. So in this case, it would be appropriate to write a check to George Consignor for $65. I'll press exit here and return back to the main menu. Now, at this point, you have two options. Either you can get out your checkbook and go ahead and write a check to George for $65, or you can have AuctionRPM create the check for you. We're going to go to the accounting menu, and let's look at both of those options. Both options are found in this area of the accounting menu. Starting off with this one, record manual consignor checks. If I click on this option, and then in here I select George Consignor as the one that I want to look at, then you can see, and there's that message again, we'll answer yes. You can see here that in auction number 2 we sold a couch, but look at this. Auction number 1 we sold an autographed picture of me. And this is an outstanding, these are two outstanding items that we still owe to George. So at this point what we could do is we could say set all pay now to full payment. You can see the pay now column is currently at 0. Even though in this case I owe 70 cents on this $2 picture of me and $35, or our fees were $35 on this $100 couch. I'll hit this button now, and so now you can see that I'm going to pay $1.30 for the autographed picture of me and $65 for the couch there. And so the total due now, total pay now would be $66.30. At this point I can now hit Pay Selected Items. It would want to know what the name that we're showing on the check is and the check number. Go ahead and type in a check number right there and hit Proceed. And now it asks if we want to print a detail report for this payment. This is a useful option here because printing a detail report is a report that can go with the check when we hand the check to the consignor. I'll answer yes to this, and that detail is shown here showing that we did pay this couch for $100. I'll hit exit here, and now it recalculates and indicates that now we no longer owe anything to this particular consignor. I'll hit exit here, and now we can discuss how to actually have AuctionRPM print the checks for us. I'll go first of all to Tools, and I'm going to go to Settings and Defaults, and then Print Settings. Under Print Settings, we'll go to Check Designer, and you can see here that this is where you can design how the check is to appear. By default, we're noticing that we're not printing the check numbers on the stubs. We're not printing the company name and address, nor are we printing the company logo or the payee name alone. If I did want those, like if I wanted the company logo, I would check this checkbox, And now this red square representing the logo can be moved around, and we can place where we want that logo to appear. I'll go ahead and uncheck that there. On this example check, you can move the constituent pieces of information around on the example check and design exactly where things go on the check itself. If you think you're pretty close, you can print a sample check here and then line it up by putting the sample check, which typically you would print on blank paper. You would put that in front of or behind an actual check and see if the items are being placed in the proper location. And if not, then make minor adjustments here. Once you've designed the check, then you can go into the accounting menu and click on Process and Print Consignor Checks. In here, you can select which auction you wish to work on, and then once you've done that, it would list out all of the consignors here in this panel, and then for each consignor you would review the items that you wish to pay, and you can pay the item or pay all in full. And once you have massaged all of the numbers here and indicated what you're going to pay for each consignor in that auction, then you can hit Print Checks. It would go through, it would ask you to load the checks into the printer, it would print the checks, then it would ask you to load blank paper back into the printer so that it could print out the item detail reports and the check registers. I'll go ahead and hit Exit here and come back to the main menu. And that will conclude our discussion of how to pay consignors in AuctionRPM. If you have any questions about this video or any others found on the auctionrpm.com website, please give us a call. The phone number is 209-588-1232. Thanks for listening.